The Massey Amendment, which one was that?
It would have blocked the NSA from collecting American telephone metadata without a warrant.
He blocked that.
Yeah.
Just on those 3 votes. Who is this guy? Where is your spine? How is this guy the guy you want? He's saying, no, I'm not going to block the NSA. No, I'm not going to block the IRS from harassing people. No, I'm not going to stop Obamacare.
The individual mandate.
The delaying of the mandate, which, remember, was so destructive, which is exactly what the Obama administration did right after. It wasn't destructive when Obama did it, but this guy had no spine, and he wouldn't do it. Raising the debt limit. He supported that one. He keeps using this oppose and support word. I don't think they mean what he thinks they mean. Keep the IRS off your health care. He opposed that. The REINS Act, which would require a vote in Congress for any major new regulation. He opposed that.
This is the one I think Mike Lee brought up to us. This is a really
big one.
Which is a great idea. You pass a bill, and they go and they write thousands of pages of regulation based on that bill, and then those guys who you didn't elect are the ones actually making the rules. In this case, if there was a major new regulation that was written, the Congress would just have to reapprove it. They've already voted for the bill, so in theory, as long as it aligns with the bill, it's no problem.
The Kromnibus, $1 trillion in spending, crafted behind closed doors, he supported it. Audit the Fed, he opposed that. Stopping the EPA's overreach on water, he opposed it. Have you been to California? I was driving this is the breadbasket of America now. I was driving in the fields of California just last week. Mm-hmm. You might as well in another year or so, it's the Mojave Desert. Sign after sign after sign on every single farm. Congress is causing this dust bowl. What are we doing? And this is the guy you want to have in? You listen to Fox News reporting on this, and they might as well be MSNBC.
I mean, the question you have to ask yourself if you're voting on this is, you don't think you could do better than this? I mean, listen to that list. You can't do better than that. Even if you don't want, you might not want Louis Gohmert. Vote against Boehner. And then they're going to have to pick somebody else.
Right.
And at least you'd have somebody who would come in there and have a chance to be more conservative.
This is the guy you want. This is the guy who you think, oh, well, he's done an okay job.
No.
By the way, here's the reporting from USA Today. A long-shot effort to deny John Boehner a third term as Speaker gained traction before Tuesday's House vote as 2 Republicans jumped into the race. The brewing rebellion is unlikely to succeed. At least 29 Republicans have to vote against Boehner to strip him of the gavel. I want you to understand that. 60% of the Republican voters want him gone. 60% of the people outside of the Beltway in the Republican Party who claim they're Republicans want him gone. You can't find 10% in Congress?
Yeah, it'd just be slightly over 10%.
Over a 50-point difference? Tell me these people who you just elected are in touch with you at all. They get to Washington and they immediately cave. I heard Rush Limbaugh yesterday. I read a story on it. I did not hear it. We should see if we can find it and play it. He's not getting involved. Why, Rush? Why? Sean is. Mark is. Rush has been saying, well, I don't think it's going to make a difference. What are you doing?
I'm sure he has some philosophy.
I know, and he's much smarter than I am, so he knows all the ins and outs and whatever.
I mean, I think one of the
love of God, stand.
One of the arguments has been it's not going to happen. So, it's
certainly not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
That's not going to
happen. It's not going to happen if leaders don't stand up.
Well, the same thing.
You know what? You know what would make a huge difference? If Fox News would have been saying it's time for him to go. Huge difference. Mm-hmm. Gas prices. And let me give you this example. Gas prices. We all know gas prices were the highest they've ever been in my life in the last 7 years. Highest they've ever been in my lifetime. I didn't hear anybody talking about it. I heard my neighbors talk about it, but there wasn't this big outcry. Why? Because the media didn't deem it a problem. When it was $2 a gallon and George Bush was in, it was a problem. And everybody was talking about gas prices.
It was a crisis.
So when you have the Republican establishment media coming out and saying, this is not going to happen, it's not going to work, it's not going to work. When you have the Republican establishment media putting Louis Gohmert on, who is a decent man, Louis Gohmert on, and you are harpooning him. You're taking him out. What do you think's going to happen? How many people just get their news from Fox and just trust Fox? And so they're watching and they're like, well, you know what? It's not going to work anyway. If somebody was on Fox, it's interesting how that didn't work out that way, isn't it? If somebody was on Fox that actually has a spine and saying something, I mean, at least Hannity is. At least Hannity is. It's despicable. It's despicable.
Should call again today because it shut down the switchboard yesterday. And it did send shockwaves through Congress.
Big time.
Yeah.
We heard from a lot of people. They were afraid. And listen, they have to be more afraid of you than they are of John Boehner and his cronies.
Right.
And if you shut down the switchboard today and they vote at 12:30, you shut down the switchboard today, and as soon as that vote comes out, you call the offices of those. We're going to give the names relentlessly tomorrow. Those who did not vote, you call them up and say, "I'm done with you." What, Stu?
You seem to be shuffling a deck of cheese as you're making this comment. I couldn't help but notice what a strange thing that was to be doing.
Because I have this deck of cheese here to make a point with you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I can't wait to hear it.
Do you like these? Do you like people who have confirmed that they are going to vote against? Think of this. This is because this is very controversial with conservatives. Vote against the guy who refused to repeal Obamacare, who voted against repealing of Obamacare, who voted against stopping the IRS targeting conservatives, who voted against the Massey Amendment, which would have blocked the NSA from collecting telephone metadata without a warrant. He voted against the delay of Obamacare's individual mandate. He voted for raising the debt limit. He voted for keeping the IRS off of your health care. He voted against the REINS Act, which would require a vote for any major new regulation. He voted for the Cromnibus. He voted against the audit of the Fed. And he voted against stopping the EPA's overreach on water. Can you find 29 Republicans out of 200 and how many? 246. Can you find 29 that have the balls to stand up against that guy and say that guy is out of touch with the American people? At least our voters. Can you find 29 spineless worms? So far, the answer is no. You can find 20. Now, there are some that are undecided yet. The vote comes down at 12:30 today. We urge you to call. Give me the number of the
202-224-3121.
The number again.
202-224-3121.
In case you missed it the first two times.
202-224-3121.
If you can't get through, go on their Facebook page. Call their local office.
So you don't forget, call before midday today.
Yeah.
202-224-3121.
They vote at 12:30 this afternoon.
Yeah, but what if I want to call? What number would I use?
202-224-3121. Thanks for asking.
202.
You don't have to vote for Louis Gohmert.
3121.
You could vote for your mom.
Mm-hmm.
You don't vote present because that's the weasel way out.
Mm-hmm.
And who is it that said they might vote present? Guy we praised yesterday?
Gary Palmer. Said he confirmed he's not voting for Boehner, but he might vote present, which would suck. I mean, that's the worst thing you can do.
It's actually, in some ways, worse.
It is.
Yeah. Although, it's pretty much equal, but in some ways worse.
Vote for Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Vote for Mickey Mouse.
I think it does have to be a person. I don't think it can be a mouse, technically. I think it needs to be a person.
You could vote for your mom.
Human being.
Your mom is
You vote for your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's better because Nancy Pelosi, if you vote present, then people could, and Nancy Pelosi doesn't have a chance of winning.
No, but they'd have to get 57 voting present. So that's not going to happen. But voting present is a stupid thing to do.
So these are the people who are expected to vote against John Boehner. Jeff Duncan, Louis Gohmert, Ted Yoho, Steve King, Jim Bridenstine, Tom Massey, Paul Gozer. Gozer the Destroyer?
Mm-hmm.
Is he looking for the Keymaster?
Yes.
Marlon Stutzman.
Bunch of weird references on the show today.
Walter Jones, Justin Amash, Randy Weber, Kurt Clausen, Dave Bratt.
Let me give you a Randy Weber update. Randy Weber, who is committed to vote no, as he just tweets, "The retaliation begins. I have been removed as sponsor of the Low-Dose Radiation Act." A bill that was to be dropped today. But
God!
And I know it sounds
not the Low-Dose Radiation Act.
Well, this is my point, though.
Yeah, no. Look at what
seriously
they're doing
though.
But the point
immediate.
is there.
It's immediate.
Look at this petty nonsense. This man has stood up against whatever the low dose, radiation. I would assume we don't want low doses of radiation or whatever it's doing.
Can I tell you something? Don't we stand up for underdogs? Don't we, as a party, as a people, don't we stand up against those who are abused by power? Shove it to the man.
Yeah.
Look at this is the man. How is it that we're being the radicals? This is the most American thing you can do. Somebody who has concentrated power, surrounded by cronies and big business and big money, big politics, to stand up. This is Mr. Smith goes to Washington. Good. Congratulations for being taken off of the low-dose radiation thing.
Yeah, and he's...
No, I know. That's good.
Yeah.
Wear that as a badge of honor. You don't want to be playing ball with these people.
But how petty is that? He's got to vote for it anyway, right? He's a co-sponsor. They said, no, you are no longer a sponsor of the bill you sponsored. I mean, what kind of petty nonsense
That is how
is this?
That's how they get it.
This is
and
how
once
they do
you vote, once you vote one time, once they have you, it's a slow drip to your death. Trust me. Once they have you, we have friends that we've lost. We have good friends that we have lost up there. Literally, and we have talked about it as if they were in battle. We've lost them. They are no longer the person they were when they went up there. And we've lost them to the dark side. And they don't even see it. They still think they're fighting the good fight. Well, you don't understand. Yes, I do. You don't understand. You've changed. Does anybody believe in this stuff anymore? Am I the only one that believes in miracles? Am I the only one that believes in the power of God? Am I the only one? They're all counting on these. Well, I've got to do this because then I have to do this. Look, guys, there's no way out. There's no way out. Have you seen the debt? It's $18 trillion. There's no way to pay that off. Have you seen what the Fed is about to do? Raise interest rates. Have you seen what is happening with our gas prices? Great. Celebrate. It's going down. Do your homework. What does that mean? We're talking about global catastrophe. Do you see the stock market yesterday? Do you see the people who are rioting in the streets? You see in Dallas, Texas, the Black Panthers that are now roaming the streets with automatic weapons saying, we're going to put wings on pigs. Got it? Show me your little John Boehner trick that's going to work. Show me, introduce me to, please, the man who's going to solve all that. They're not one. The only thing that you can do that will work is to be totally righteous, to do the right thing, and trust the power of God. Trust that you say, you have no power here. I mean, it's probably a little bit of a stretch to say, John Boehner, go back to where you came from. You have no power. But it's not that much of a stretch when you're talking about the cronyism and the darkness that both parties are involved in. Both parties are involved in this.